Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/itslayspodcast and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/itslayspodcast. And I actually have a recommendation today. I think it's only fitting if you're gonna grab yourself a book, check out the many editions of Phantom of the Opera. They have the play to the novelizations, and it seems that almost all of them are narrated by different people, none of who I specifically know, but I'm sure are great. So yeah, you could use that for your free download.
Do they sing?
I hope there is epic singing.
Because it'd be really weird to have Phantom of the Opera, but it's just someone talking.
Well, you could find out by using it as your free book. Now let's get into the podcast.
We're going to expand our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store. Back where it says horror videos and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Monmouth and Fletch.
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
Gotta return some videotapes.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to the It Slays podcast. I'm your genetically modified host, Rowan.
It's Xylia.
And this is your third from last roll of Florida toilet paper, Mike.
And we are back with another one, and I don't know if you heard that voice, but it's the triumphant return of Xylia.
Yeah.
Or
Yay! We stand.
Salute.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good.
Good. She's back.
She's as talkative as ever. Good. Good.
Yeah, I had to take a little bit of a hiatus. I think it's good to be, transparent and without going to, nitty-gritty details. But, yeah, so I just, went through a pretty big depression and episode of depression and lots of panic attacks and couldn't get out of bed. So the idea of doing the podcast was pretty overwhelming. But I just thought that why stigmatize it? Why, not talk about it? And
Absolutely. We all can relate, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I'm getting better and I'm good enough to be here right now, so...
You're good enough to eat,
Here I
my
am.
sweetheart. You're good enough to eat.
And I was going to say, what's the opposite of depression than a whole episode dedicated to musicals?
Yeah.
It's mania in a can right there.
It's definitely an uplifting musical.
So I know what Xylia's really been missing, and that is the question of the episode. We've already know that I haven't even thought of my answer yet.
Of
so
course.
That's how it goes. I'm gonna lowball it. We gotta gently bring Xylia back into it. Don't want to give her anything too existential.
I'm not gonna lie, I have really low standards, so I love it when you lowball. I love a lowball. I love feeling like I've accomplished something when I haven't.
I love an existential question.
We're really at opposites here.
I also must add that we started watching The Midnight Gospel last night on Netflix. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. It's the cartoonist and the creator of Adventure Time.
Oh,
but it's
excellent.
just every episode is about mindfulness, but also about these random fucking topics.
Yeah, and it's actual. I can't think of the guy. Something Duncan
Trussell or something.
Yeah, apparently he has a really popular podcast. And essentially, what it is it's guests he's had on his podcast, and I compare it to, Waking Life. It's you're watching these animations that have nothing to do with anything going on, and they're talking about,
It's a mixture of Waking Life and Adventure Time.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds.
They're just having, serious conversations while...
about life.
A cartoon's going on.
Yeah, it's sweet. And, Mike, Damien Eccles?
Of course.
Yeah, so he's He's on episode 3.
Yeah.
He's the
Oh,
guest.
nice.
Yeah.
I feel like he probably doesn't do a lot of documentary, podcast, interview style.
I think he does a lot, actually. Like, I think ever since he got released from, like, death row, that he's been, like, a big advocate. So I think he might end up being on stuff because of, like, his advocacy.
Oh, well, if he's doing, like, activism and advocacy, then that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't about that. This is, like, a lot of it is, like, has kind of, like I said, it's a lot about mindfulness, and they, like, a lot of people talk about Eastern, like, religion and Buddhism and stuff. You just gotta watch it.
Oh,
also,
sounds spectacular.
sorry, one more point. I did hear some clips from your guys' episode of, what was it, Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker? Baker Nightmare Maker. Yeah. And Rowan didn't happen to say, so the question was, like, something about what you've been watching, and Rowan had neglected to say we had watched Sex Education.
Oh, my queen.
Love it.
My queen. I would literally do anything for Gillian Anderson.
Yes.
And I mean anything. Me and my friend went to see, our local theater did a digital simulcast randomly, like 6 or 7 months ago, of because she was doing a run of All About Eve in London. Because, like, she's based out of England. And, so
is she British?
I don't think
I
she
thought
is.
she's American.
No, I think she's American, but she's been based out of England for quite a long time, So, but now she does it so well because she's brilliant that people kind of, like, forget that she's American. I could be wrong. Please feel free to correct me. Anyway, so she was doing a run of All About Eve in London. And so this one Saturday, like, late afternoon, they simulcast it digitally. And my friend and I, it cost like $25 or something, which really isn't a lot. So we just went to the theater. There was 2 other people there other than the 2 of us. And we got our popcorn and we sat down and we watched Gillian Anderson, like, live digitally from London doing All About Eve. And the score of All About Eve was done by no other than PJ Harvey.
Oh, nice.
It was brilliant. Gillian was, like, stunning. She was so good. I just want to throw that in there because I love Gillian Anderson and I think she's brilliant and doesn't get enough credit. She's also hilarious on Twitter. She's so funny. You don't expect her to be funny because, like, you kind of have that, like if you grew up with the X-Files and, like, you watched a lot of it, you don't expect her to be, like, so lighthearted and funny and, like, dirty, but she is.
Yeah, because she was, like, so analytical and straight.
Very, like, cold. Yeah.
Her character in Sex Education is, like, my style icon. I'm, like, dressed like a tomboy, but I loved her outfits. I was like, if I were to dress, like, fancy, I would want to dress like her.
She's also, like, kind of the queen of, like, the fucking hyper stylish, like, a lesbian power suit. I find she did a like line for some designer and it was sick. It was, like, literally the, like, lesbian fashion icon collection. And I love it. I love her so much. Like, everything about her is just, like, my queen.
I was gonna say she rocks pantsuits like Hillary Clinton wishes she could rock.
Oh, Hillary Clinton has nothing on Gillian Anderson in any way, especially when it comes to the sartorial department. I'm sorry.
Gillian Anderson for president.
100%, please.
Okay, people. Question. So it only seems right. I want to know everyone's favorite musical. Oh, it is musical themed, and I'm gonna make you sing the answer.
Yeah, right.
No, I won't make you sing the answer, but
girl, I got you. I don't even have to think about it.
I need to know favorite musicals. Let's go, people. We'll start with Mike because Mike is ready.
Rock and roll high school. That's it.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Okay, so technically, you might not consider it a musical, but it is. It's a movie musical based on the works of the Ramones, you know, the icons.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, I feel like I've seen an average amount of musicals. I'm not like this, like, I love musical kind of person. But what's that one with Neil Patrick Harris?
Oh, Dr. Horrible.
I remember really loving that. I thought that
really
was
like
really
that.
good. I might have to rewatch that. I loved that movie. Hedwig, obviously.
Of course, Hedwig, yeah.
Yeah, those are probably
I thought you were just going to start listening to every musical, so everyone picks their favorite and Xylia is like, I will just list every musical.
No, but as we've talked about in the past, like Chi Chi Bang Bang, that's a musical and it's fucking scary. My mom loves musicals and so like I've seen like, you know, The Sound of Music and blah blah blah, all the classics. I wasn't really like super into them, but and I do like Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yes, Little Shop of Horrors is another like kind of underdog choice for musical. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And also Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is horrifically underrated in 2020. Yeah.
It's so scary.
Now, yeah, I'm going to have to go probably the Xylia cheat way. I have a 3-way first place tie. I can't put one above the other.
Rowan, we would not expect any less from you at this point.
I know. Number 1, or they're all number 1, but first would be Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay, y'all, I thought we were singing this. I sang mine.
Little Shop.
Thank you.
There you go. Trust me, I could get down. Little Shop of Horrors soundtrack is always saved. I have the album saved on Spotify. I have most of the songs added and saved on my playlist. I own the vinyl.
When it's supper time, we literally, like for our cats, we like literally go in the kitchen and we're like, I think it's supper time.
Oh, yeah. Like, okay, Rick Moranis, like, period.
Period.
Iconic. Also, we're recording this, it's, like April 20-something. His birthday was, like, the other week.
Nice.
I feel sad I missed out and didn't have a Rick Moranis day.
Also, like, exclusive content. When me and Rowan have a child, if it's a girl, the middle name's gonna be Audrey.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, Audrey 2.
Audrey
but we're
2.
not gonna name her Audrey 2, but, like...
Listen, people, I tried to go and I tried to say, listen, it should be Audrey 2, but didn't work out.
That would be a weird name.
But yeah, so Little Shop of Horrors, Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, like, I've loved it since I was a kid. The first time we ever saw it was probably with me, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, like, I can watch it non-stop. I highly suggest, if you've never watched the deleted ending, to go on YouTube. Totally changes the movie because it was like a lot more adult and then they cut everything out of it. So sorry, I was getting excited there.
Yeah, what were your other ones?
My 3-way tie. So Little Shop of Horrors, Hedwig and the Angry Inch would be up there as well. Like,
also Riverdale.
Yeah, we have to give a shout out that we last night
literally just Hedwig.
Turned on Riverdale. We're like, I wonder if there's a new episode of Riverdale. And then I didn't even read like the description.
Of course, you just jump into it. Yeah.
The thumbnail was somebody wearing the like
Hedwig, but I saw it and I'm like, no, that can't be Hedwig. Like, it just looks like Hedwig. And then we clicked it, and it's literally just a Glee-inspired entire Hedwig soundtrack sung in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. But yeah, Hedwig, I think it's criminally underrated. We have it on, like, the Criterion Collection edition. And then the third for the 3-way tie, which is going to be very controversial. I can just sense it. I'm, causing controversy already in the episode. Is Shock Treatment over Rocky Horror Picture Show. I prefer Shock Treatment. I think another one that I have the soundtrack on vinyl. I have it downloaded on my phone. I always have it with me. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show, and
of course. Iconic,
like,
classic.
I know, iconic like LGBTQ+, iconic Tim Curry, like all this. But I think music-wise, Shock Treatment,
it's
like
better.
The music's just better as like actual.
Well, I mean, and a musical,
listen to.
That's what you need. Because like it's fine,
and it's super
to
80s.
Say,
I love the 80s.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we stand the 80s. Like it's the height of everything. But it's like when you're watching, especially like a movie version of a musical, it tends to be even more about the music because like you don't have the power of like a live performance behind it, so you can't it's not as easy to get lost in that, even though it gives you the extra visuals. But like, I don't know, I just feel like in movie musicals, because you get so easily distracted, like the music needs to be even more prominent and better, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, that was my hard-hitting question, my low ball question for the day. We're just easing Xylia back into it. I promise it'll get more existential
Okay, thanks.
You know, we'll start getting into conversations about the id and the ego next time.
Super
trust me. Our like days of
Mike's
quarantine
Pink
are
Floyd.
going to like, I'm Pink Floyd right here. Like it's
I feel now that we're just gonna have to get like after we do a classic It Slays podcast t-shirt, we'll have to do another line of a picture of Mike that just says Pink Floyd.
There's cups that say Pink
Oh, is
Floyd.
there?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole
like,
point. And they usually have the like Dark Side of the Moon logo
Yes.
or a variation of it in the background where it's like the triangle spewing out the rainbow. So
And
then
it's
the
like a
picture,
Pink Floyd.
a portrait of Freud in front of it that says Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
But of course, then it has so many meanings, like the triangle and the rainbow and everything. It's
So basically, that just went like way over my head.
You went over your own head.
You've never seen the mugs?
No, I've never seen those
swallowed
mugs.
yourself whole.
Jeez.
And then shat yourself back out.
We need to get into it because I'm super excited. So this was my pick. So I'm going to introduce it. So this is, let's go back to the year 2008. We have to...
What a year that was.
What a year. I have to preface this preface this film with our story, which I said when I picked it we would tell. So me and Xylia lived in Halifax, Nova Scotia at the time, and I don't know what we were seeing.
Okay, so this is like when the couples are like, no, like this is what happened. Okay, so this is what happened. I worked at the Courtyard Marriott, and one of the people I worked with was in like a film, and it was like the Halifax like film festival type thing, and she was in a film, so a bunch of people from my work went to see the movie.
And this was back in the Empire Theater days before they got bought by Cineplex.
Yeah, this was at the one in Park Lane Mall. And so there was this guy that I worked with and he worked at the front desk of the hotel, and his name was Paul, and he was super fucking awkward. But he was a nice guy.
But if you randomly listen to this podcast, Paul, you're awesome.
No, he was a nice guy,
stand
but
you, Paul.
he was very, very awkward. So basically after the showing of this movie from my coworker, Paul was like randomly talking about how he was going to see Repo the Genetic Opera. Me and Rowan had seen
the trailers,
but like living in Nova Scotia, the chances of you getting that movie at Empire is like, you know.
And when we saw the
Very
trailers,
slim.
I was like, we have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I never said the movie I picked was Repo the Genetic
Oh,
Opera.
yeah.
Oops.
So
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So basically we're like, oh my God, where are you going to see that? And so he was like, oh, it's playing at the Oxford in like an hour and a half. So we ran,
Which is like on the other side of town.
on the other side of the city. So we randomly like took this cab to the Oxford,
and we didn't have tickets.
We didn't have tickets. We just like showed up, and it's like this old theater. It's so cool. It's
super hipster.
It's no longer there. But yeah, and that's how we saw the movie.
Yeah, so we did get to see it in theater, which
was pretty cool.
Which is pretty sweet because it had a very limited release.
Yeah.
I was reading that it was only in like major city. I think Toronto was the only city in Canada.
Yeah, so basically it was there as part of the film festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to see this up close and personal.
Yeah.
So let's get into the trailer so you can see what 2008 Rowan saw and freaked out about. And then we'll get back with all the musical goodness.
By the middle of the 21st century, organ failure had become a worldwide epidemic. But GeneCo was there to satisfy the demand for organ replacements.
Enjoy GeneCo's day and nighttime formula.
The problem is, if you miss a payment, GeneCo sends out the Repo Man. And when he finds you, your time is up.
Collect on the Handelman account at once. This payment is past due.
Everybody, oh yeah. Stand up. People. Woo! Everybody.
tells me she must escape. I'm only living out a
So that was the trailer. Let's check out the bio. A worldwide epidemic encourages...
I'm already, like...
Triggered.
Triggered.
I should have put a trigger warning in front of this. This could be our future, people.
I do believe they call it content warnings now, Ro. Get with the
content warnings.
CW, there's no TW anymore.
This is literally like... fucking North America 2025.
That's right.
I'm glad that you gave us a good, maybe 4.5 years before this happens.
No, I'm just saying it's gonna last. I'm just like, yeah, this is just continuing on. It just gets so bad that this happened.
So remember that as you listen to these words. So, a worldwide epidemic encourages a biotech company to launch an organ financing program similar in nature to a standard car loan. The repossession clause is a killer, however.
Okay, can I point out that a worldwide epidemic is a pandemic? They could have changed it.
Honey, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Also, I'm gonna come up front and say this now. I think the bio is more descriptive of the story than the movie.
Yeah, probably.
It might have done a better job, but we'll get into that. So, we always start it with the same thing. Let's talk about our favorite iconic scenes of this film. Maybe iconic's a little strong. But, what did we enjoy?
Well, can we talk about our favorite song first? Because they're like...
Oh, you want to get right into the song?
Because they're part of a scene.
Okay. So, favorite song, we were tasked with making sure we said our favorite songs.
Rowan tasked us.
That's right.
He's a taskmaster.
It sounds like it's coming from someone above us. Like, yes, we were assigned to this task.
It came down from
Rowan.
HR.
Yeah.
I literally tasked my minions. That's literally the fucking translation of that.
I need like a picture of me in one of those Office Space memes where it's like, I'm gonna need you to pick your favorite song.
That's literally Rowan.
That is me. So, Xylia, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so I don't know the name of the song, but I will put it on I think we should all, I'll put all of our favorite songs on our little playlist.
And we're gonna have to check that out, because last time I checked,
it wasn't on
Spotify only offered the Broadway, that music, not the soundtrack.
Well, guess what? It seems to be on here.
Oh, yeah. That's what I like.
Spotify to the fucking rescue. Not that we're endorsed by them. Come a calling, Spotify.
That's right.
Spotify.com/throwing shade or whatever. Cut that out, please. I was like...
I think I actually, just from the name, I think I know what one it is.
If you described it, I feel like I know it.
I think it's called Zydrate Anatomy.
Drug market, supermarket. Sometimes I wonder why I ever got in. Blood market, love market. Sometimes I wonder why they need me at all. Zydrate comes in a little glass vial.
A little glass vial?
And the little glass vial goes into the gun like a battery.
Yes. The one where they're in the alley and it's Paris Hilton and what's her name, Alexis Vega, and the grave digger robber guy. Okay, so this was 2008, guys. Paris Hilton was like really popular.
She was the shit.
The
shit.
Like she was like the Kim Kardashian before Kim Kardashian. She was just like fucking in this random movie.
And
it's like
I have some fun facts about that I'll share. So she heavily pursued being in this. Like, they didn't want her in it. They were really worried that people would think, like, they're putting Paris Hilton in to get people in the seats. They also...
Like they did with the remake of House of Wax.
Yeah.
They really, like... I saw they were talking about, like, they just really didn't think she was going to be able to sing how they wanted, and... They just weren't ready for that. And they said so they weren't going to let her audition at all. And then they did. And they said she, like, killed it. They said her singing in person was amazing. And then another fun fact. So think about all that shade they're throwing. When they were getting towards the end of the production, they ran out of money. And they needed, like, $50,000 to finish. So she took a day off. Went and did a nightclub appearance for $50,000 and then gave them the money to finish the film.
Well, what did she do? Literally walk into a building, drink free drinks all night, stand behind a partition where nobody was allowed to come near, and literally drank for free, and then went home and said, here's a $50,000 check.
Exactly.
Also, since we're on the topic of Paris Hilton and singing... I need to throw out there, I'm going to be open and transparent and say that I love her single Stars Are Blind, and I have 3 versions of it on my phone. I am not saying I've listened to that whole album, even though I have, but Stars Are Blind is a weirdly good vanity project single from the late 2000s. I'll leave it at that. Roast me if you must. I don't care. But I will rock out to Stars Are Blind while drinking wine and cooking any day of the week.
I loved that Paris Hilton was in this because I just think it like upped the camp factor that much more.
Oh my god, that is the thing.
Especially now when you look back to it.
Also, people need to remember that if you want to talk about just this time period, Paris Hilton at this time, I believe this would have been around the time Paris Hilton was signed to Cash Money Records.
What?
Yeah.
Was that
Think
who
about
put out
that.
The Stars Are Blind?
I don't know if... I think they came after that song. Now, I can't remember if she was signed to Cash Money or, like, Young Money, but she was, like, signed with Lil Wayne. Like, that career went far.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say anything. She's like, always listed as, like, the top 10 highest paid DJ in the world now.
True.
So, I wish I could hear Paris Hilton DJ.
I'm not gonna lie, transporting ourselves into a different place and time other than where we are right now in mid-2020, where you would never even dream about going into a club if there was even one open, I would 100% erase all the fucking historical context right now, and I would 100%, if we made like a road trip to go see Paris Hilton DJ live in a club, I'd fucking do it in a heartbeat if I had the money. Are you kidding me?
You know what's really weird? When I watch
honestly, I feel like she has good taste. It's bizarre, but I really do feel like she has good taste.
I don't know. We should ask Cecily. Cecily, like, follows her on Instagram. So she has this, like...
Cecily is a Paris Hilton stan.
So it's really weird because they had the play at the end, like, or they had the opera at the end of this movie. And this pandemic has made me, like, watch, when I'm watching shows and people are in groups, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Back when we could, like... be around people. And I'd be like, you're not social distancing.
Yeah, I've been watching like old seasons of Drag Race constantly for the last probably 2 weeks. Like, and I've never been like a big fan of like watching it as such. Like, I watch an episode here and an episode there, but like I watch like lots of clips and I like love a lot of the queens and follow them on Twitter and stuff. But like I've actually gone back and started at the beginning and I'm like watching through it now, and there are a lot of moments where they like have to go out on the street and like try to get people to buy stuff on the street or go to a club and perform, and I'm like literally looking at it and going, looking at this now makes me sick to my stomach because like you can't do this right now. You would not get away with it.
Yeah,
like it's what is happening.
I'm like, remember the days when you could go to a restaurant
Yeah.
This episode's taking a very dark turn.
Well, I was going to say you can't ignore the historical context. You can't pretend that it's not happening. So you might as well just acknowledge it.
Exactly.
And then put it in context and move on from there, and then keep that as part of your framework.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say too, what did we say it was called? Zydrate.
Before it's too late.
Zydrate Anatomy. I was watching the special features before we recorded, and I feel like that was like the crew's favorite one, because they kind of said that they felt that was like the catchiest song.
Yeah, so.
It was great. Honestly, that was on my short list of best songs.
Yeah, well, and they were saying that, because originally to get it funded, what they did was they paid to make a 10-minute short. So, I know, I'm sorry, listeners, we're jumping all around. We're in the favorite song, but context. So, the movie, this was an off-Broadway play before it was a movie. They did it in this tiny, like, coffee house that would empty out at night. And I was reading, like, they could only hold, like, 50 people to watch it. But it sold out every night. And they made it as a 10-minute play because the creator's whole idea was being able to make musicals that were only 10 minutes that could tell complete stories. So, yeah, they used that Zydrate song when they made the 10-minute short to then sell to the companies.
Oh, okay.
And they said, like, that song basically sold it.
It was really good. There was a lot of great songs, though.
Yeah.
In terms of favorite scene, because I might as well throw that in there.
Can I interrupt you for 2 seconds?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm sorry, guys.
Why are you asking? Just say, I'm
gonna let you finish. I just wanted to let people know that
Rowan just Kanye Wested.
Beyonce does have... No, I'm just kidding. I just thought about it. I quickly wanted to go through because we missed out. We got so excited that Xylia's back.
Okay, let's not do it at like 30-minute list of everybody in this movie. But we can hit the...
We need to hit the keys here, okay? And there's not a big cast. So I did want to bring up that it is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. He's who financed this entire movie. So he directed Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, as well as...
Didn't he also, like, co-write or produce or something the first Saw? He was one of the main people on the
he had
first
something
Saw,
to do with the first one.
I think he maybe wrote it and then Lee Wan-el directed it, maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, the first Saw was fucking awesome.
I like the second. The second one was the creepy one with the
Oh my god, the Pit of Needles. The Pit of
Someday
Needles.
I'm sure we're going to get
Smith,
to the
by the way,
Saw.
so underrated. Shawnee Smith is my queen. I love her. Check out her metal band from like the early thousands, $5 Ho. I'm sure they're on Spotify.
Saw at the time was like...
Yeah. This was when, he was obviously getting very good paychecks for doing these. He's also I don't know if he's directing, but he's like the producer of the Spiral film coming out, which is, if anyone doesn't know, so it's a spin-off of Saw. It's in the Saw universe, but it's like an entirely black cast. Chris Rock is in it, and he's like he's producing as well. And then the only other thing this guy did was the Devil's Carnival, which is the movie, the opera that they made after this, which I also enjoy. And, I also thought it was important we shout out Darren Smith and Terrence Zudnik, I think is how you say his last name. So they're the guys that actually wrote this, and they're both in the film. So Terrence Zudnik plays the grave robber, and Darren Smith plays the, I don't know what you call him, like the host or whatever, at the opera when they're doing the test. Yeah, when they're doing the Testify, that's Darren Smith. So they entirely, like, wrote and directed this. I'm sorry, Xylia, I'll get through this, I promise.
Okay.
Well, Xylia already said Alexa Vega's in it from Spy Kid notoriety. I've never seen Spy Kids, any of them.
My sister and brother watched that movie like 10 billion times in a row, so...
The only thing I've ever seen that she was also in the second Sin City. That's the only thing I've ever seen her in.
I can't remember that.
And now I know Mike will definitely agree. The next person you have to shout out is Paul Sorvino.
Of course, legend.
Yeah.
Acting, singing legend. Father of Mira, like...
Isn't he like a classically trained? Like...
like
he's literally trained in opera singing. Like,
yeah. I only wrote 2 notes. I mean, his filmography is like 80 pages long.
Oh yeah, like you can't. There's no year that goes by without a notable movie that doesn't have Paul Sorvino in it.
Mina Sorvino is also his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, Oscar winner / now icon of the Me Too movement.
But he was famously in Law and Order on television. I used to be a huge Law and Order guy. And more importantly to all 3 of our hearts, Romeo and Juliet.
Of course.
Yes.
Baz Luhrmann version.
Yeah, like... that's all I care about.
Not the Franco Zeffirelli 60s version. We're talking... full-on Baz Luhrmann.
Playing Nathan, I want to give a shout-out to Angie. I know Angie listens.
Oh my god, this is like one of her kings.
Yeah, so I know she is loving Anthony Stewart Head.
Giles from Buffy.
Plays the Repo Man. Yeah, Giles from Buffy. Fun fact about that was the reason that he was always meant to play that part, and they said they decided that he was right for the part because they were watching the Buffy musical episode. And they were like, he's got to do it. Also, special features on the Blu-ray, they have his...
Are we skipping? Oh, okay. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I know, I was just saying, they have...
I think we're a bit all over the place.
Yeah, we're just really excited to have Xylia back, and we're all over the place. It's all right.
We're so excited to have Xylia back. I'm talking about this whole thing.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying on the Blu-ray, they have Anthony's, like, audition tape, and, like, holy fuck, that guy can... Like... There is no sound editing in this, I don't think, because he can, like, actually really sing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's one of those, like, people that kind of really, like, Dark Horse, pops out of nowhere and you don't expect, but...
Yeah, exactly. So I'll go through the rest of the list really quick. Sarah Brightman.
You will not go through Sarah Brightman very quick. Excuse me? Iconic fucking opera crossover singer, originated the role of Christine in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera, a bajillion selling albums. Queen Sarah Brightman. We will not be skipping over her quickly. Thank you. There we go.
She definitely brought the credibility to this as an opera.
Thank you.
And interesting enough, like I said, while I watched the special features and was reading, she wasn't originally casted in this. They had an actress that was going to play her. They didn't say who, but they just said the actress dropped out. And then just somehow it turned out that Sarah Brightman got the script and wanted to do it. And they were like, well, obviously we'd get way more credibility if we have a real opera singer.
Exactly. And she knows her way around camp. If you look at her shit with her original band, it was like disco music in the late 70s. What is the name of the song? I Was Married to a Starship Trooper. Oh my god. Like, watch it on YouTube. Queen. Love her. Love her. She knows her way around camp. She is an opera singer who knows camp, and I think most opera singers do know camp, because they toe that fine line constantly. Let it be known.
I guess we already talked about Paris as Amber Sweet, and we said she was in House of Wax. She was also in kind of another horror thing. It was called The Simple Life. Scary. Very scary.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was what happens when retail meets.
They have every season up on Tubi.
Yeah, Simple Life.
I will be watching it again.
I did not know that, although I just found out that Tubi puts lots of ads in their streaming.
Oh, yes. We love Tubi, though.
Oh, we love Tubi. Tubi.com.
Everyone sponsor
Tubi
us.
Download it on your Android and Apple device.
The Simple Life is like peak 2000, like 6 or whatever.
It is. It's peak pre 2008 financial crisis reality television. It really is.
And it's just like about like luxury, like these like, you know, two rich people going to the country, and they're used to living in this luxurious blah 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 lifestyle.
I was gonna say it's definitely
it may be seen as maybe like making fun of like rural folks,
and it is.
Well, because it's not really ironic. Like if they had done that post 2008, the irony would have been just dripping in every scene. But like there was really no irony. It was like weirdly earnest. It was uncomfortably earnest.
As like someone who lives in a rural area, I'm like fine with it. But yeah, so Kesha was in one of the episodes. She was like a teenager, and Paris and Nicole like stay at her house.
Yes, this is true. I was gonna say also oddly maybe necessary pre-watching before you get into Repo to really get you in that Hilton vibe.
They were they're like so entitled, and you're just like, you're fucking like, oh my god.
Anyway,
also, there's one really important person you haven't mentioned.
Well, let me go through the list.
Right. Oh yes, right.
The list.
Let me briefly talk about these three people.
I only have three more.
No, he's saving this person for last. I know, Ro. This person is being saved the best for last.
So. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see if you know who's last.
Just say it.
So next, I have Bill Moseley.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, next. So it's not last. I was going to say Mr. William Moseley.
Horror icon. So he plays Luigi.
Who, by the way, looks beautiful in this movie. He looks more gorgeous than I've ever seen him look in any movie that I've ever seen him in. He is a very handsome fellow.
Love Bill Moseley. I mean, we don't have enough time to list. I mean, he's basically only in horror movies. He's an icon, but
and every second episode we do, it's a movie with Bill Moseley in it somewhere. Yeah. Even if he just showed up on set and like ate some of their craft services and they gave him a like extras credit.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, obviously. Like almost every Rob Zombie film.
Rob Zombie movie.
Epic. Then I've got Nivrik Ogra. Weirdest name on the face of the planet. So he played Pavi. I think this is really one of the only things he's ever been in. He's the lead singer of an industrial band called Skinny Puppy.
Oh, I think I've actually
Skinny
heard
Puppy
of
is iconic. They're really
I don't
iconic.
listen to like that kind of music, but I did recognize the name. But apparently, he is the lead singer.
I think they
band.
might even be Canadian.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like they're on Network, which is like Sarah McLachlan's. It's an iconic Canadian label. They do a lot of like pop and stuff, but they also do like industrial and
okay.
Now, also, can we please, before we move on from him, talk about how anybody who's ever played a Borderlands game, the mask that he has on his face is literally Handsome Jack from Borderlands. Am I the only buddy? Like, is anyone Bueller?
I could see that. I was a little Borderlands player. Interestingly enough, the face is actually Darren Bousman's girlfriend.
I love it.
They didn't have anyone to cast the face, so he was just like, "Hey, can you get your face casted?"
Well, yeah, they didn't want to pay anybody to get their face cast, so they were literally at home, and he's like, "Sit down. I'm going to pour you up a glass of wine. Hang your head over the back of the couch. I'm putting a cast on it."
Now, I want to know if Xylia is giving me a look for who I'm going to bring up cameo appearring.
Oh my god. For anybody. Just
is that... Well, I thought maybe you would judge me on not bringing them up.
Who is it?
We don't, like, we should be on the same
wavelength. How dare you.
So,
I had to look
Jett?
this up. Joan fucking Jett in that 17 song.
Yeah.
Queen, we love Joan Jett. She is the queen of everything. Like... rock and roll.
Yeah, it was a pretty sweet cameo.
I literally rubbed my eyes while I was watching it, and I was like, is that fucking Joan Jett? And I like just paused the movie, and I was like, I gotta go on IMDb. I gotta go on Wikipedia. That is 100% Joan Jett, and I'm so glad it was, because it was so perfect. And I just love that Joan Jett, because she's kind of got that vibe now, like that campy, kind of like almost horror, but like rock and roll vibe, and I love her. She was so perfect. Such a perfect cameo.
Yeah, it was beautiful. That's all I had.
Well, now that we've gone through a detailed list of every single person featured in this movie and their entire life history, I'll get back to my answer.
Are we still talking about our favorite song?
Favorite song / theme or scene.
Yeah, Xylia hasn't finished it.
I haven't finished my answer yet.
This needs to be one of those lead-ins, like, back to the podcast.
Yeah, so my favorite scene was when Alexa Vega was like, it was towards the beginning, and she was trapped in her house, and then she was like, open the doors, and she was looking outside, and she's like talking about how she wants to go outside, and I was like, oh, this hits hard.
Real pandemic vibes.
This hits me in such a deep place in my soul.
We have had this planned for a very long time, so the fact anybody who's listening that this recording of this particular film falls in the midst of like a quarantine pandemic is completely coincidental. And frankly, I think until we rewatched it, we didn't realize.
It's true.
I feel like
you're watching it and you're like, oh my god, this is sick. Like, why are we watching this right now? This is actually torture.
Because remembering it, I kept thinking I never remembered it had anything to do with a pandemic. I thought it was just about, people needing organs or like / being addicted to plastic surgery. But then it was a pandemic. I was like, oh, no.
So Mike.
Yes.
Favorite song?
I didn't know what it was called while I was watching it. I wrote down, quote, Cruel Morning, but the title of it is actually Chase the Morning.
What do you want? I want to finally meet you, something real to cling to, leave you with the hope that you will go to all you're meant to, all I failed to. In you is a word of promise. We have both been kept in bondage, but you can learn from all my failures.
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers
or let them through the gate.
That either. A big risk,
a big fence,
a mistake,
a new friend.
It's the one
when
when Blind Meg shows up to the house and essentially says, I didn't know you were alive. I'm your godmother. I knew your mother. I promised I'd take care of you, blah, blah. And then, of course, Anthony Stewart Head shows up and etc. But I thought that it was, a great scene in general because it was, like, not just the, like, rich guy and his fucking snotty kids or the dad trying to, like, contain his daughter. It was this like new dynamic of like, I was your mom's friend and like you're like family to me, but I didn't know you existed. And I just thought it was a really nice moment. I thought the song was fucking great, actually. I really liked the song. And obviously I love Sarah Brightman, so the fact that like she could get featured prominently, not as just like a prop up on a stage, I thought it was a great scene overall, but it was my favorite song for sure. And now that was actually hard because I wrote, knowing that we were going to have to pick our favorite song, I wrote like 4 candidates, but that was the one that won out over all of them.
There's a lot of good songs.
The music in it is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Let's just say.
Is this your first time seeing it?
This was my first time seeing it. Yes, we didn't talk about our histories, but yeah, this was my first time seeing it. Weirdly, I always wanted to. It's just one of those movies that I've always had on my radar. Of course, I have a really huge place in my heart for, like, camp. And to me, when I saw a sci-fi horror, like, kind of Rocky Horror-esque musical, like, rock opera about, like, disease and surgery and, like, organ transplant, and that Paris Hilton was in it, I was like,
you're like,
this is on my radar. And somehow, I just never saw it. It was always just there, but something else would get in the way and kind of push it to the background. So this was good. I'm glad I finally got to see it after all these years.
That makes me smile.
I didn't know this was your first time. Side note, I remember like a couple years after this came out, remember how they had that like mainstream movie that came out and it was like Repo Man?
I was gonna at some point bring that up.
And it was like pretty much like stolen.
Jude Law.
It was like super famous people, but the story was like pretty much identical.
I think they got in some sort of legal battle. I don't know whatever happened with it, but
and it was literally called like Repo Man.
This was the thing, though, to bring that memory up a bit. It wasn't a couple years. It was literally the next year.
The year later.
They put out. It was called Repo Man. It was it was like taking organs.
Yeah, it was fucking weird.
But it was like an action movie, and then I saw bits and parts of it. It didn't have Paris Hilton in it, so I didn't give a shit.
But it had Mr. Jude Law.
Wow, he's
my
on the
fucking
list.
King.
Yeah.
So, Mike, was your favorite song also your favorite scene?
It was actually, yeah, and it was actually hard because I'm not gonna spoil it, but this wasn't my favorite movie ever. I will say that, but. There were some great songs and some great scenes, but that to me was like, I don't know, there was just something about that scene and that song that it was actually, even the songs where it's like, oh, you're my daughter and I'm just trying to look out for you and your mom died and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just so performative, whereas this actually felt like there was an emotional seed to it. You know what I mean? There was like a core of emotion to it. And it was the first time the whole movie that I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of touched by this, you know? Like, they're not just all caricatures. It was the first time they went from caricature to like, oh, these are actually people, not just, you know, cartoon versions of people that are in a, you know, horror, sci-fi, rock opera.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say off that point, see, I found too, like, and not that I think for everyone's kind of singing skill level, like, everyone did pretty good in it.
Yeah.
But I found, like, with Anthony Head in scenes, like, especially with Alexa Vega, it's just, he was so much better than a lot of the other people I found. Like, so, like, when he shared scenes with her,
yeah,
like, I got the emotion. Like, he did a really good job of singing and acting, where, like, I found she was just kind of, like, focusing on singing, I think, and there was just, like, a disconnect for me.
No, that's fair.
I was gonna say, like, I think he was just on, like, another level, I think.
But he's so brilliant. You can tell he's got that, like, classical training, but also, you know, obviously he was on Buffy, so he kind of has his foot firmly in, like, pop culture and kind of, like, campy horror as well, so.
Yeah, and dad goals. He's, like, the ultimate dad look. I was enjoying his dad looks with the sweater when he was just,
and the glasses. Dad. Like, that's, he has it all. He's got everything. Anthony Stewart Head, he's got everything, baby. Opulence.
I know, you know, the shitlord in me wants to say my favorite song was, like, Bill Moseley talking about finding a hole and fucking it.
Okay,
but that's not gonna be it.
I love that song.
I just assumed that was going to be your favorite song. I'm going to be honest.
I did love it. But before I get my favorite song, it's a good point. And Xylia says, like, oh, I love that song. I think some of the great songs in this were songs with people that obviously don't have a singing background and can't really sing. But, like, it just really worked. Like, all of the stuff with the siblings, the Largo siblings, was, like, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
one of their songs was one of the ones I had on my short list for favorites.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Xylia again. I have a two-way tie. I can't pick. I'm sorry, guys. So I really liked Legal Assassin.
Where did our daughter go? It's me she must escape. My burdens I can't erase. The mother I might have saved.
So that one,
what?
Legal Assassin, is towards the beginning where we're kind of being introduced to the duality of the Nathan character. So when he's going in the tunnel and he's like talking about how he's a legal assassin. Also,
yeah, essentially when you first find out, like, that's kind of like the twist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And amazing, just like the littlest things that can, like, change a performance. Because my favorite part of, you know, not necessarily scene, but thread in the whole movie is, like, the duality of Nathan, where he's like, you want this guy to be your dad. He's, like, this really sweet guy, but then, like, he is, like, a killer, and he enjoys it. Like, we see those glimpses that he gets pleasure from murdering people. And I love, like, those little inflections where he made sure, like, when he's the dad, it was, like, a softer voice. When he's the Repo Man, he has, like, the gruff voice, and he's giving you, like, the scary face. So it was a tie between Legal Assassin and the Night Surgeon.
Marnie, I am so sorry. Can you forgive me for this?
Not the dead doctor with the hungry scalpel. Here's my prognosis. Will they live?
Doubtful.
Which is where they're forcing him to fulfill his contracts, and he's killing the guy, and he has that whole, like, I remember thing. And yeah,
is that the one where he's, like, putting his hand in the guy's
body?
No,
that's Thankless Job.
Oh yeah, Thankless Job. That was a great one too.
No, Night Surgeon is towards the end. Yeah. Night Surgeon's probably my favorite over Legal Assassin. They're kind of the same style, and I think most of the songs have the same musical thread, but Anthony, he wins it for me every time.
I did find that it wasn't like there was like this song and then this song, like it all like flowed together.
Well, yes, because they essentially all of the dialogue was sung.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which was they talked about on the special features, which was like a very conscious thing they did to make sure they were staying to an opera format, not a musical format. And I appreciated that just because they're not lazy about it. It wasn't like, oh, it's called an opera, but really it's like there's literally like almost no lines that are talked, and if they are talked, they're still talked in the context of a song.
Yes, yeah. Everything about it is like melodic and musical.
What was your favorite scene?
So, unlike you guys, because your guys' songs kind of corresponded with favorite scenes, didn't they?
Mine, no, I had another one.
I guess. My favorite scenes were the scenes with Bill Moseley and Paris. Like, I liked all those interactions. Like, they were great comedic,
it was
reliefs.
very how do I even explain?
Over dramatic performances.
Well, I mean, it's what you expect from Bill Moseley anyway. And the funny thing is, I thought it was so fitting because like Paris Hilton was a good fit with them, which I was not expecting. I was like, first of all, I never thought I'd see fucking William goddamn beautiful Moseley in a scene with Paris fucking Hilton. But here we are. And I think it was her awareness, because if this had been 3 or 4 years before, I don't think she would have had the self-awareness, but like because it was 2008, and so it was still like kind of when she was like, it wasn't peak Paris Hilton, you know, it was kind of like as her star, as her like
it was going
tabloid
down.
it was waning a bit, and I think she was because of that was a little bit more aware of her nature as like a camp figure. And so I think that she knew that she was going to be like, I feel like in say House of Wax, it was just like she's like, oh, I'm using my fame to get on like a horror movie, like, look, I'm a serious actress. But whereas I feel like on this one it was like, this is going to be a fucking campy rock opera of the horror variety, which always go down in infamy or fame, and I'm aware of my status as like a camp figure in pop culture. And you know, she kind of like knew that she was self-aware enough to know that she was a bit of like a ridiculous figure. Not that she was ridiculing herself, but I feel like she was a bit aware of it, and kind of like, I feel like that worked in the context of her, because like the character was kind of a weird parody of her. It was this, you know, spoiled rich girl, right? So that's I feel like I said, it was self-aware. She's like, this is kind of like a funny sci-fi horror opera version of me. You know, amped up to like 12.
It was very fitting. I will say too, these are the times I hate doing the podcast, because Xylia will contest, I've seen this movie many times. A lot of times. And this is kind of the first time I really looked at it and stuff, and I didn't like the kind of nitpicky stuff that I was picking out, and it really hurt my soul, because I love this movie so much. But I will say, like, I thought, like, some of the camera work was kind of shoddy. I kind of really found I was getting tired. Like, did you notice, like, they were really using, like, this kind of, like, blur effect? Almost like you use on Skype, where, like, I found the backgrounds were blurred a bit. Like,
yeah, I will say that there was a lot of, like, technical details that while I was watching it just screamed late 2000s low budget genre film. And you know, the CG, the camera work, everything about it screamed like 2006 to 9 genre film.
That's why I loved it.
And don't get me wrong, I watched it and I was like, it's very nostalgic, but like at the same time I understand that, like, you know, as a critique, yes, obviously that could be seen as a weekness.
Yeah, well, and like, I know, like, budget limitations, and like, they shot this all on like,
they have a budget limitation. That's a little hint for the budget.
Are you saying they had a budget period?
Because I know they talked about like, they shot most of this just on one sound stage, and they just redressed it. So a lot of it, like, the scene towards the beginning with Shiloh and the Gravedigger, like when they find all the bodies underneath the city, like most of that was just computer generated. And yeah,
I mean, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And like obviously when we're seeing the city, it's kind of, you know, very like 2008 computer graphics, low budget. I'm not gonna lie, for some reason I just kept thinking about Spawn, the movie. I was like
the one from the 90s?
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of giving me those quality of graphics vibes. Yeah, and I kind of found with this watch, like, the pacing was a little off for me. Like, I love the music, but there's a lot of exposition at the beginning. Like, maybe too much, where we have all the, like, the comic book scenes explaining, because it's a very intricate story, and it's like, we need to tell you all of this story that probably would take a half hour, and like they're trying to cram it in.
It's true. And here's the thing though, like you brought up the comic book things, which is very, very, very exposition heavy, obviously, and kind of breaks you off from the movie in a way.
Did you get some Angely Hulk vibes?
I mean, of course.
That's all I thought about.
But they did break away several other times during the movie to do that as well, except they only did it for like 30 seconds, like say, not just because I love Sarah Brightman, but like when they gave the Blind Mag backstory, they did it in the same manner, but literally it was just 25 seconds that didn't explain anything. And I was like looking at this going, okay, you overloaded it at the beginning with all this exposition, and then I thought you were going to break it down again and have another lull where like we went in and got like some more backstory, and I was like, I'm prepared to like settle in and kind of like take myself out of the story again and actually get like some background exposition. And they literally just were like, nope, here's 20 seconds and we're gonna yank you back out of it again. And I was like, I still don't understand what her fucking purpose is. I don't understand her relationship with any of these people. It's like there was an other minute in there, minute and a half, 2 minutes that they just fucking decided to chop out. Like, fuck it. You know?
Yeah,
so I think, like you said, your pacing issue definitely is valid.
It's like pacing, and I don't know if they gave us enough, like, character development for us to, like, overly care about any of the characters. We're just kind of, like, throwing in, and they're like, these are the plights, but, like, we don't really know the characters. We're just kind of thrown in, like, the middle of a story. Yeah. And I just feel like they didn't earn me caring about enough of the characters. They're just kind of there for their, like, I'm not emotionally attached to anyone.
I feel like, do we have to be emotionally attached to every character we watch? I like the fact that it was just, like, a quick and fun thing with music.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I spent 3 days watching Tiger King, like, you know,
she knows about emotionally dissociating from herself. She's been watching Tiger King.
Exactly.
I like how he's really taken aback by that. I'm like, maybe I have to check myself when we're becoming the Xylias and Xylia's becoming the Mikes and Rowan.
No, but like, do we have to? I understand that that's like emotion is like part of, you know,
experiencing art, yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, sometimes it's like no different than when I watch Teen Mom or whatever, you know, like sometimes it's just like I don't have to feel like attached to these people.
That's fair. Well, and I always kind of give it a pass on most things, because I also say this is very new territory. Like, there is no other horror rock operas, so they're kind of creating the playbook as it goes.
No other horror rock opera.
I mean, other than the ones they've created. Well, yeah.
Okay,
I was gonna say,
let's just go back on that and say there's been very few.
Very few.
There have like Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah, exactly. There is.
But that's
there is a history,
not an opera.
Okay, well, we're splitting hairs here.
Really
we're
matter?
Splitting hairs. Are we going to start defining what one is as opposed to the other? But
exactly.
To both of your points, there is a history of this, but it's not an extensive history. That's the way I look at it. Like, there is definitely a precedent, but it's not a, like, rigorous, voluminous precedent. Like, there's only really a handful. And frankly, you're probably right in saying that there hadn't been one for 20 years before this. Or at least 10 years, you know?
Isn't Little Shop of Horrors? Little Shop of Horrors?
I love Little Shop of Horrors.
Again, though, like, that was decades before this, right? And, like, there had been nothing like it really since. So I'm just trying, I'm playing, like...
Yeah.
I'm being diplomatic here, and I'm saying that you
paying
both have
the
points.
devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate. There's one of A and there's one of B. Both of your points are valid.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that.
I mean...
The only other real thing I kind of thought when I watched this is I do like it, but are we sure the comic book stuff worked in it?
I thought it broke it up.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of it, but...
I liked it. I really did like it. I just don't... I think it could have been used differently, I guess. I kind of felt like almost
cheap exposition.
overused
It was cheap exposition.
Yeah.
It was really like forced into the plot in terms of like we don't know of another way to set up the background of these characters, so we're just gonna literally just insert a whole other genre. And again, this is not like that in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. That's not a critique, but like just in terms of the movie, it was like it just felt like they just kind of like shoehorned it in, and they're like, "Oh, we're just shoving this in here. Like kick it in, boys. We got to get some exposition in, but we got to keep it under 2 hours." So like, you know, that was I didn't dislike it. I didn't thoroughly enjoy those parts because they felt shoehorned in and exposition heavy.
I just felt
if they had incorporated it a bit more organically into the film, I don't know that would have worked either. So I could just be like being overly critical for no reason.
I didn't hate it, but I was just like, it didn't tie in to the like none of the rest of the movie is comic booky. Like there's
the
no
aesthetic didn't gel.
That's kind of why I like didn't mind it.
I don't know.
It was kind of all over the place, and I was okay.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on. Like, next episode, listeners, I'll get into it. I feel like I'm on Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Xylia, I don't know what's going on. Xylia's not critical anymore. She's just...
I'm not saying anymore, but...
There's something going on here where this is a Scooby-Doo mystery.
It was... I thought it was
Xylia's become the shitlord of this episode.
Okay.
There can only be one shitlord.
I did want to, I feel we never really talk about this in any of the episodes, but the costume design, I really, really loved it. Fun fact, a lot of the female background actors, their costumes came directly from Paris Hilton's closet.
Oh my god, I was gonna say,
did she have this red visor?
The costuming that jumped out at me the most that I liked, even though it was very simple and not like kind of stunning in any way, but like it just kind of leapt out at me and I was like, I really like that. It's really simple and well done. Was those two like woman bodyguards with the like fishnets, and I look at that and I'm like, that is 100% from Paris Hilton's fucking closet. 100%. Now that you mention that, I'm looking at that and going, she just literally showed up with like a stack of clothes from one of her 20 closets and was like, here we go. And they're like, oh my god, like let's dress the fucking bodyguards in this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was a tidbit that I had read. Just that basically, kind of to help out money wise, they use like some of her clothes as.
So what you're saying is essentially Paris Hilton was like a financier of this movie.
And a lot of the stuff you read on the internet say it's very interesting that she didn't get a producer credit or something for.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's doing things that like a producer would generally do, except she had direct access to it, whereas like a producer would go to people for access to it. Whereas she was just like, let me just dip into this. Let me just go to the club myself. Instead of getting somebody to find costumes and money, she's like, let me just go get it myself. So really, she's like a super producer.
Yeah, she was robbed from her
credit. Paris Hilton should have gotten a like Oscar producer credit.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
She went above and beyond. She should have gotten.
But she definitely went above and beyond to make this movie happen.
God love her. Like it's and not the type of thing you would expect from her, but like it's really cool. I stand. I've always kind of stand her. Obviously, Stars Are Blind, love it. Stream on iTunes and Apple Music and Spotify.
new side cast just called Paris Hilton Underdog. It'll be hosted by Mike and Cecily.
Yeah, I was gonna say Xylia is not gonna want any part of that. Sociologist is like,
I don't know.
I'm shriveling up into a.
She'll be your resident simple life expert.
Yeah, it's true. And the one where she was looking for a BFF.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Paris Hilton's
BFF.
I was trashy in 2007 like everybody else.
That's right. She was rocking that Jersey Shore season.
No, that was a bit later.
Was that later? I don't know.
That was more like 2010.
So basically,
that was definitely,
you're just admitting there was multiple trashy years.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a phase. Phases last for years. We all have trashy phases.
We may have been at the Dome a lot, and if you're from Nova Scotia, you know that's your trashy phase.
Okay, Rowan has nothing to talk about when it comes to trashy phases.
This is true.
But okay, we digress.
The costuming, yeah, I love the costuming.
I love the faces falling off.
Yeah, the faces look great. Like I thought Paris Hilton, she was so burlesque. It looked, I love that.
I think this podcast shouldn't even be labeled like Repo, the genetic opera. It'd just be called Paris.
No, it'd just be called Paris.
A Night in Paris.
Oh, shout out. One night. Yeah. I was like, how can you play off that? I don't know.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I mean, other than those kind of nitpicks, I really love this. Paul Sorvino kills it as well. Man, that guy is amazing. I just love everything he's ever in. Is there any high points for you guys?
The only other high point I have listed is at the beginning when they're in the graveyard and they're having Shiloh and the grave robber are having their songs. And of course, instead of paying attention to them, I'm looking at the names on the headstones behind them.
Yeah.
And one of them was Deborah Gibson, and I'm like, oh my god, Debbie Gibson. I was like, that's so funny. I don't know why that's so funny, but it is. That was a high point for me, right there.
Now, I did have an issue in that scene. If I'm robbing graves and I'm trying not to get caught, maybe you shouldn't every 1 minute scream at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I was
like,
ah! Yeah, I was like, why does he keep screaming? They're just gonna keep coming.
I think we should start a new segment. We can't do it for this because I think this movie's a bit too obscure for this segment. But sorry, our cats are just putting their hands underneath the door. They're so sad that they're not in here. We have to do, before every movie now, we have to look up what blank character are you? What character are you of the movie?
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% down for that.
I'm
never the one I want
every show. I know, me either. I do that for every show and movie I watch.
So let's just play it now. What character do you think you are? I think...
Who do you think I am?
I think Xylia is Luigi.
What?
I was gonna say Pavi.
I was gonna say Pavi too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're one of the brothers.
I was gonna say Pavi too.
Yeah, obviously Pavi. I don't know.
Pavi was my favorite.
I'm trying to think who Mike would get. I don't know.
I'm the girl at the literal beginning of the movie when they're just singing the background of there's a pandemic or whatever, and we're taking back the organs, and it's just this random girl who gets chased down, and she's the first one at the beginning who just gets her fucking guts ripped out, and I was like, yep, that's me right there. I don't even have a name. I'm just girl at the beginning getting her insides ripped out. Yep. So I don't need to do an online test. I know exactly what I am.
I want to be the Paris Hilton.
Okay.
I want to either be the Paris Hilton or the reporter that I think looks like Phil from YTV in a wig.
Oh yeah.
Can we also talk about how you're Paris Hilton, but you're Paris Hilton after her face falls off? You're Paris Hilton who's singing and actually doing a good job, and then her face falls off, and you're like, okay, bye.
During that scene when she's holding her face up and she's like, no, Like
that moment
so
was probably my favorite moment of the whole movie. I should have said that earlier, but like when she gets up on the stage and starts singing, and I'm like, she's actually not awful. And then
I was literally thinking how awful.
Oh my god, no. The whole thing, maybe it was like a charisma thing, and like her holding up the seam on her forehead, and I'm like,
yeah, and she keeps like shaking her head, almost like she's
I thought it was really well done. I thought she handled it well, even though it's just singing or quote unquote singing and touching your face.
It was just like so like so overproduced. It's like
well, I think that was what was so good about it. Like that's why I was so impressed with her in this whole thing, because that's obviously like parodying her
music,
like,
as a singer.
As like a pop singer that probably can't really sing, and it's just like this weird.
But she's in an opera movie, right? Like
I would listen to that song. I thought that song I was like, man, this is my wave.
That should have been the B-side to my favorite single of all time, "Stars Are Blind" by Paris Hilton. Radio edit.
Is there anything else we'd like to discuss? I think it's a good mention for people if for some reason you're listening to this and you haven't watched it, which I hope not, because as you know, we never give a description of what happens in the movie. So
no, we just go off on multiple tangents.
You'd be so lost, but pretty good gore. Like, I mean, I would expect that from the Saw guy.
Oh, that's where the entire budget went, though.
Yeah,
such as it is. The entire $3 budget went to the gore. It definitely, we will say right now, did not go to the fucking wig department, because the wig department was in the gutter.
Shiloh's wig was terrible.
Every wig in this movie, I'm like, okay, I've been watching a lot of Drag Race the last couple weeks while I'm in quarantine. Like, if I'm cooking or I'm doing laundry and folding it or playing video games, I have Drag Race on in the background. And let me tell you, I know that a fucking good wig is goddamn expensive. And I was watching this movie and going, these wigs, the Drag Race queens, even the ones that didn't win, would shit on this because their wigs are better. Like, the wig game in this movie was in the fucking trash.
I also love when Sarah Brightman comes in on your favorite scene when she's like saying to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, says she has her mother's hair. And I was like, it's a goddamn wig!
She literally has her hair. That's probably a wig from they took the hair out of her corpse
physically.
And fashioned a wig from it, yeah.
Yeah, literally has her hair.
She goes, no, really, you have your mother's hair. Give it to me, I want it back. Rips it off her head, yeah.
Well, let's get into that last question. Is it scary? I think I saw Xylia shaking in her boots a couple times.
Yeah.
And it might have just been at those high notes Paris was trying to hit.
Yeah.
Xylia, is it scary?
No.
Yeah. I feel like this is a unanimous.
I mean, absolutely not, no. But
absolutely
but as we touched on, there's actually elements of it that if you've seen it, especially for the first time in March or April of the year of our goddamn Lord 2020.
True.
That actually do kind of touch on, touch a nerve on our, fucking global situation and then make you think of the next 5 years. So, in a way, it might actually be scary. Let's come back to this in 2 years.
Exactly.
It's potentially scary. I'm going to say it's not, but it could be. It is a seed of scariness.
I know that they've said this will be going on and off for the next year to 18 months, but it really hit me hard today when I received an email from my union rep asking about what we're going to do about bargaining, because this is expected to go on for the next 2 fucking years. And I'm just like, oh my god, how will I live 2 years?
I've been enjoying it. Sorry guys, I just like to play video games and watch movies.
Oh, listen, me too. I'm
you.
Trying not to descend into a fucking oblivion spiral of depression and anxiety, and I've been fighting that off really well with giant, buying a giant 4-liter box of wine every week and a half, and playing Animal Crossing and Dead by Daylight and Overwatch. So
I'm glad that I'm still working, because if not, it would be bad. a bad scene.
I'm glad that you are too. I just remember, on a personal note, I remember what happened many, many years ago when I was still in school and I was finishing up my master's degree and I got laid off from my job. It was not something like this. It was just they were cutting out that department in our province. So obviously I didn't have a job anymore. And I couldn't really go find another job because I was literally in the last couple months of writing my master's thesis. So I was like, okay, I'll go on unemployment insurance and, for a couple months and finish writing. And after like 4 months of not having a job, I had a bit of a breakdown. Now that could also be because I was writing the last bit of my master's thesis. So I'm just anticipating a breakdown in like a month. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Not having a set routine is really not great for my mental health. And anytime I go through a period where I'm like not having to go to work, on a regular basis, I get the same way.
Yeah. And I find like if I know that I don't have to get up for anything in particular now, being laid off as I am temporarily, as most people are. For example, like if I want to have a couple extra glasses of wine, whereas normally I would, if I had like 2 glasses, I'd be like, oh, it's getting late and I got to work tomorrow, even if it's only in the afternoon, like I'm going to go to bed now. And whereas now I'll go, I don't have anything to do for the next few days, really, so I'll have a few extra glasses. And you know what? If I'm feeling energetic, I don't go to bed. And then I'm lying in bed playing Animal Crossing, and then I look at the time and it's 4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just sleep in all day tomorrow because what the hell else do I have to do? I've got stuff to do, but it's nothing that it's not a set schedule. So if I have to do things around the house, or if I wanted to go out and, take a walk around the block or go do whatever, like I can put that off until 6 o'clock in the evening if I want.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like there's nowhere to really go unless you go to the grocery store, which we're only allowed going once a week.
Well, the good news, guys, is we don't have to finance our organs yet. So
Not yet.
Yeah, stay tuned. Again, stay tuned, 2022.
So, as you listen to this podcast, to answer the question, is it scary? Yes, because of a pandemic and because of terrible wigs. That should be the takeaway.
Thank you. I'm glad those are the takeaways from this episode.
Let's get into rating this bad boy. Let's start with Xylia.
I'm gonna give it a yay. I love how we saw it. That was like just like a really fun night, and it was like very spontaneous, and I've seen it several times over. I mean, that was, I don't know, 10-ish years ago, if not more. And I've seen it several times over the years. I don't know. It's just, I enjoy watching it. There's nothing too critical. I just enjoy watching it.
There you go. I had to think for a second. So if you are a listener, the ratings are nay, okay, yay, and slay. Yeah, I know.
Did I say yay?
You said yay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, is yay before or after okay? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's after.
Yeah. Let's go to Mike, because this was your first time, and I'm very interested in what you think.
Oh, it was. I'll give it an okay. Now, I just have to qualify that. First of all, with a few exceptions, I'm not a fan of musicals. I do love operas, but, this was obviously, a cheap-ass late 2000s horror opera. But, okay, with that said, it suffered from a lot of things. Bad wigs. A bad first time to watch it because it did kind of like, instead of taking me out of reality, which it sort of did in a way, but then at times I was watching it and I was like, this could be our future, so I was very creeped out. And, it had some great cast members. It was a bit more stylish than I thought it would be, which almost gives it like a yay, but, it was obviously still dated, and I feel like their budget did not go into decent special effects. But I don't know, it was just all around, it was a very campy ride. And I feel like this is something that, also part of it is that I was watching it on the Tubi app, and beaming the Tubi app to my TV, which is lovely, and it was a really good way to experience it. But then, partway through the movie, about 2/3 through the movie, something happened with my Wi-Fi, and it wouldn't connect to my TV. So the last third of the movie I actually had to watch on my phone. And so I feel like, I will say, the fact that I didn't enjoy much of it is probably due to the fact that I was just watching it on a tiny phone screen because I couldn't get it to beam to my TV. So that's totally me.
And you had ads.
And I had ads. A lot of ads. There was a lot of ads. I love Tubi, but there was a lot of ads on it. And it did take me out of it several times. But honestly, like, there were moments, like I said, I'm giving it an okay, but there were a lot of, like, really interesting moments, and I will rewatch it, honestly, and I feel like this is a movie that would have been fun to watch, and this is why it actually, like, kind of hurts me. This is a movie that would be really fun to watch, like, say, with all of us in the room together, drinking too much, eating, and watching it. So I feel like watching this by myself when we're in quarantine, a camp classic like this, it wasn't the right context, and that kind of took me out of it. So I'm giving it an okay.
Okay. The pressure's on me. I definitely, as I said, I love this movie. When it came out on Blu-ray, I like rushed to buy it. I've seen it more times than I can count. This is really hard because I was torn between a yay and an okay. I'm gonna give it a yay because I'll say this, it's a yay for me. I feel for most people it would be an okay, but just, I love this movie so much. It's one of the few musicals I enjoy, so I can kind of get my musical fix from this. Yeah, it's super campy. Mike hit it on the head. Like, what a great movie to, like, have drinks with friends or something and just really enjoy it because it's campy and it's fun and, it's not anything you seriously
It doesn't take itself seriously at all, which is really nice.
Yeah, there's no, like, extravagant plot where it's like, oh, you're gonna miss this. Like, you can just kind of turn it on, even just for the music, and have it as background noise. But it does have its flaws, as any kind of smaller scale movie would have. But yeah, I'll give it a yay. I think it's very unique. It's very unique in the pantheon of horror films.
Oh, I'll give you that, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll give it a yay. So now we are going to go to the budget game. If this is your first time listening to us, basically, I know what it costs, what it made, and Xylia and Mike fight to the death to try to guess those numbers. And I think they're getting cocky about this because of some clues I dropped, and we're going to see what they have to say. Xylia, you're the seasoned Repo watcher. What do you think this movie cost?
$2.3 million.
Ooh, Xylia's getting so cocky now, she's adding like the 0.3, 97 cents. Mike, as the first time watcher, what do you think this costs?
I'm gonna say $4 million and $4,500,000. $4,500,000 or that 50,000. Okay.
Can you just say
rewind?
4.5?
Rewind. $4.5 million.
Oh, I'm keeping all that embarrassment in. After all that shit you guys talked on the anniversary episode.
Oh my god, I know.
About
I
me.
know.
Downtown Abbey.
Downtown Abbey. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Mike is the winner.
Nice.
I'm never the winner. What did I win?
You won my affection, and all the listeners.
I already have that. I already have it. You're just telling me I won something I already own. Thank you.
So it cost $8.5 million.
Okay. What?
$2 million, X? Wow.
I was gonna say $5 million, but what Rowan was like, oh, there was no budget. $8 million
is not
that's
a budget in 2008. That's like
nothing. It's consideed low budget
for
in 2008.
this movie. I thought that was a high budget.
Again,
and I mean,
it's not like they fucking spent it on wigs. So,
so let's talk about what it made. Now it is time. Mike, we'll start with you. What do you think this made?
I'm gonna say $2.3 million.
Okay, 2.3. Coming in with the exact numbers, Xylia.
I couldn't remember exactly what
you.
Xylia said, so I was
$1.0 million.
$1.0 million. So Xylia will take it.
What?
Wait for it.
Recount.
It's
Florida
definitely
recount.
under
Wait for it. So this had a very limited release. It only released in
$200,000.
6 theaters or something originally. Although I will say, I bet you the number grows every year. I had read that this is kind of getting the Rocky Horror treatment, where theaters that specialize in horror, the creators actually go visit and they play this movie at midnight.
You make it an event.
Yeah, and make it an event. But on the books, on the record, this movie made $188,126.
I could throw up. I was just being sarcastic and saucy when I said $2 million. I was like, it definitely got 7 or 8.
I thought it might have gotten 500 million or 500 million.
Okay.
500,000. But wow, that was rough on an $8 million budget.
Yeah, so I will say though, as you know, users on social media and stuff, I think it's definitely created a cult following. I always see people posting their copies and stuff like that. So I mean, it definitely is one, like a lot of good horror. It's the aftermarket, not the theater run.
Of course, yeah.
And like Mike said, it's on Tubi, so you go watch it on Tubi. Yeah, it's free. So that is everything. Before we get into Xylia's pick, this is how it works. She makes her comeback. I think she timed it because she knew it was her pick. But before we do that, this is where I do our shameless promotion. I should really be singing everything in the theme of musical. I'll do this quickly. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube, It's Lay's Podcast on YouTube, we've actually been getting some subscribers. All the episodes go live on YouTube, so if you listen to this through YouTube, they will keep coming on there. And I'm actually creating some cool exclusive top 10 lists to put on YouTube. Kind of in Watch Mojo fashion. So
we love lists.
So we check out for that. As always, make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anything you listen to podcasts on. And please, if you're enjoying us, go and rate us on Apple. Leave us a comment in the ratings, because we'll make sure to read it. But it just helps people find us easier. And last 2 things, go to Spotify, It Slay's Podcast Horrific Playlist. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I'll check.
Jeez, Xylia's gonna have to check it for us. While she checks the name, I'm plugging it. We add our favorite songs from our movies we review.
It Slay's Podcast Horrific Playlist.
There you go. And I'm sure we're gonna add stuff from this on there.
I'll be adding the 4, since Rowan's the cheater.
Since I cheated. and then lastly, Patreon. If you want to be a horror hound, join us on Patreon. www.patreon.com/itslayspodcast. There's a bunch of tiers there where you can get anything from t-shirts to picking a movie you want us to review, to getting shout-outs on the podcast. Check it out, and join us in some good times. But without further ado, it is Xylia's pick, and I will give her the floor.
Okay, so my pick is Like Me. You can find it on Shudder, and I don't know if you can find it anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is going to be kind of a more obscure. It was a indie release, I think maybe 2 years ago. About 2 years ago. And I know me and Xylia have been wanting to watch it forever. I saw it described as a mix of Argento and psychedelics.
Oh, you're talking my language, baby.
And in a week, come on.
Actually, Mike, I think I sent you the trailer one time when it first came out, and you were like,
Oh, yeah, you probably did. It sounds very familiar, yeah.
And let's be realistic. Me and Mike and the listeners know it's gonna be a little artsy. It's gonna be a little art house.
Oh, my God.
Xylia's our resident art house picker.
But we love this. We love it.
We do. We love it. So, yeah, we're excited for that. I think that's everything. Thank you for tuning in. We are very happy that Xylia is back. She's back in action, baby, to calm me and Mike down. She figured we were up to no good, so
yeah.
She's like, we got to bring some credibility to this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate every single one of you. So as always, I am the Roddy Largo of the podcast, Rowan.
Bye, it's Pavi.
Pavi. And this is Mike. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
We're going to expand our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store. Back where it says horror videos and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Not with the new Fletch.
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
Gotta return some videotapes.